If you suffer from embarrassing erectile dysfunction, whether you go soft during intercourse or can't get it up at all, there's finally a solution to your problem. So pay close attention, because in just a few minutes, you'll learn a simple trick that reverses erectile dysfunction and gives you back the sex life and intimacy you and your partner deserve.
It was heartbreaking not being able to have sex with my husband.
And I was filled with so much guilt and frustration, especially knowing she was suffering. Your video literally saved our marriage.
Thankfully, this video does what it says. I get rock hard instantly, anytime she's ready.
I know from both personal and professional experience, this works. I've tried everything, and this completely reversed my problem with ED, and it did the same for every client I've shown this to.
So why are men all over the world raving about this simple erectile dysfunction breakthrough? Why are pharmaceutical corporations in a panic over this video, which has gone viral in 24 hours, exploding over the internet? It's for one reason, and one reason only. This short presentation exposes the hidden cause of erectile dysfunction. And trust me, you want to pay attention, because it's not what you think it is. You'll also discover the shocking reason why erectile dysfunction is affecting men younger than ever right now, causing soft, uncooperative erections, ravaging men's lives as early as their 20s and 30s. So if you're ready to experience thicker, fuller, longer-lasting erections, practically on demand, well, here they come in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Warning, this herbal boner cocktail gave me a 4-hour erection. Hi, I'm Josh, and I'm going to tell you how a strange herbal brew gave me the strongest, most pleasurable erections I've ever had. And my wife, the best sex of her life, night after night. Before I discovered this boner cocktail, which you can make from a few simple ingredients found at your local grocery store for pennies on the dollar, my erectile dysfunction almost ruined my life. After giving her months of soft, uncooperative erections, my wife was on the verge of leaving me. I tried all the prescription drugs and nothing worked for me. Not to mention, they had some terrible side effects. Now, the story I'm going to tell you is not only painful and humiliating, it might even seem a bit crazy. The reason why I'm putting myself out there is because my unfortunate story helped me discover the real root cause of ED, which goes against everything you've ever heard or seen online. This boner brew I discovered not only saved my marriage, but literally turned me into a sexual marathon man that can go for hours on end, and my wife could not be happier. So if you want to know what to do to fix your lagging member today and restore your love life, your reputation, and your hope for a rock-solid sex life, trust me, you want to pay close attention to every word I have to say in this short video. Now, if you happen to come across this website by accident, then you should consider yourself pretty lucky. This video accidentally propelled me into an unwanted spotlight thanks to the method that I've pioneered to save my own sex life. I'm getting too many requests for TV interviews, podcasts, and to be honest, I just don't want to become known as the boner guy. My name is Josh Harding, and I'm a history professor at a local community college in a small town in western Michigan, where I've taught for the past 24 years. At the age of 58 with 2 grown kids and an archaeology fetish that takes up a lot of my time, I have no desire for fame. I started this website because I wanted to help guys who were facing the same problem that I was, watching their members shrink, their sex life vanish, and their wives and girlfriends roll out of bed with frustration written all over their faces. Guys who are just looking for a natural solution to erectile dysfunction, or ED. Even occasional ED that doesn't involve dangerous, expensive, and physically addictive drugs like Viagra, Cialis, or painful testosterone shots. I spent years researching every medical and alternative treatment for ED you can think of, and I was almost ready to toss in the towel when the most bizarre vacation I ever took led me on my own Indiana Jones-like adventure and the discovery of this crazy Peruvian boner brew that changed my life and the lives of thousands of men forever. Have a look. This 3,000-year-old hardening cocktail I'll share with you today is so potent, it led to the creation of hundreds of these pieces of pottery that were crafted to honor the elders from this one tribe in Peru. These white-haired Peruvian men were praised for their enlarged and fully functioning members. And to this very day, the simple herbs they used for thousands of years are still working their magic on these lucky locals. I know. I became one of them. I'll tell you that story in a moment, and when I do, everything will finally click, and you'll get why drugs are not the answer you're looking for. You should know I do not sell herbs, potions, drugs, or supplements of any kind. I am just going to tell you how to make this boner brew for yourself for about 30 freaking cents. No kidding. So do yourself and your manhood a favor and watch this right now while I still have it online. You should first be warned that what I'll be sharing with you today goes against almost everything you've ever heard about ED. Now, you may be thinking, like I was, that ED is a mental thing or an age-related problem, or maybe that you don't even have ED because you only occasionally lose your erections. So let me know if any of this sounds familiar. Perhaps you suffer from soft or incomplete erections. You know the kind. Those halfway there woodies that create many awkward cram it in any way you can moments and that leave you humiliated as you watch the disappointment wash over your lover's face. Or maybe you're suffering from temporary erections that wither away within minutes of engaging in sex. Those are worse than not getting it up at all. It's like giving your lover a present and then taking it away before she can open the box. Believe me, women remember those disappointments longer than you know. Then there's what I call sensationless sex. That's when you can get it up for a short while, yet the sensation and pleasure you feel is a fraction of what it used to feel like. Sensitivity will become very important to you during this video, so make special note because you may not even realize that your penile sensation has all but vanished. Remember back when you were a teenager? There you were, sitting in math class or history class, and the mere thought of seeing that cute blonde in her cheerleader outfit made you sprout wood, usually right before your teacher asked you to come to the front of the room and solve some equation or present your homework. It's embarrassing, right? I remember having to hide more than one untimely erection. And if you're honest with yourself, you long for those days. And I bet you could barely keep yourself from releasing too quickly when you did have sex. All of this is due to your members' sensitive nerves being on red alert. Keep watching as I'm going to reveal to you how you can get that sensitivity back. Now, something tells me that you don't wake up every day with that infamous morning wood like you used to either. Does any of this sound familiar to you? As you'll soon see, these are early warning signs. And even if any of these terrifying events have only happened to you just a few times, the reality is very clear. You are caught in the throes of early or mid-stage erectile dysfunction. This condition often leads to full-blown ED, leaving you in a permanent and irreversible state of what's called penile tissue decay, or PTD. In fact, according to urologist Dr. Peter Perito, unless you handle your ED right now, you can lose up to 1 inch off your member every year. You could be forced to resort to painful, risky surgeries where they slice open your penis from the base to the head, peel the head flap open, scrape out the delicate, sensitive, spongy erectile tissue, and replace it all with a balloon. This balloon is manually inflated by vigorously and repeatedly squeezing a third testicle sewn into your scrotum, sending you into an early sexual grave. I know, scary stuff. If this continues, the worst thing that can happen to a man will happen to you. You will stop wanting to have sex. Even now, your drive to have sex is probably on its way downhill, and eventually you'll lose all of your sexual motivation. When that happens, your brain signals your body that it's time to die, literally. Your body will start burning muscle tissue, storing more fat, losing more hair, and the reason is simple. Sex is the signal to your brain that you are a hunter, a warrior, a true man. When you no longer want sex, your body is programmed to shut all of your vital systems down. Now, if that was all your ED was doing to you, that would be a really good reason to panic. However, throughout my years of digging into this, I found out that the problem is a lot worse than you think. In fact, it isn't just a male problem. Women suffer from ED as well. Not in the physical way that we do, mind you, but in the emotional and marital sense. Here's what I mean. In a recent survey, 10,245 women were asked a simple question. If your husband or lover cannot perform in bed, would you cheat on him? 4 out of 5 women said yes. Yes, your wife or girlfriend will likely cheat on you unless you fix your flaccid erections. And if that wasn't bad enough, 1 out of those 5 women said they would leave their marriage if their husband could not sexually satisfy them. My wife Karen almost left me. So believe me, I know this to be true, and Karen is one of the most loyal women I've ever known. Today, we have a fantastic marriage and an equally incredible sex life, but that wasn't always the case. So if you think you can coast along and just assume that your woman will stand by your side, think again. Women feel shame and embarrassment when their lovers can't keep an erection, and they blame themselves. No matter what they may be telling you or how much you tell them it's not their fault, they blame themselves. Think about it. If a woman said she wanted to have sex with you, said she loved you, said she thought you were attractive and desirable, and then her body betrayed her by literally shutting down sexually, what would you believe? Now, what if you're single? Well, then, I bet you're terrified of that first sexual encounter with the next girl that you're going to meet that's bound to happen sometime very soon. The anxiety you must feel over knowing there is a massive chance that your member will just sag in her hands or go totally limp and shrink after only a few minutes of sexual contact is enough to overwhelm the strongest guy in the world. Over 72% of single men over the age of 45 report a high degree of sexual anxiety when it comes to their first time with a new partner. And when you can't get it up, it leads to humiliation, rejection by your partner, and greater social isolation. Without going into the bedroom knowing you can perform on command, you are setting yourself up for a vicious cycle of disappointment and embarrassment, and it doesn't have to happen. Starting today, you can return to the time when a strong breeze would give you a rise in your genes, when you could perform at a moment's notice, often going for hours and multiple times in a row. I believe that's the right of every man at any age. So let's address the problem head on before things get out of hand. During my years of research into the real cause of ED and natural ways to reverse it, I discovered 3 really common myths that most men believe when it comes to getting and keeping firm erections. I'm going to cover them really quickly so we can move on to my rather unusual solution that is working for thousands of men as we speak. First, I want to save you months and perhaps even years of frustration as well. And you know what? A hell of a lot of money too by exposing these myths and lies right now. The first myth is one that I heard all my life, and you've probably heard as well. It's all in your head. Well, guess what? It's all in your penis. That myth got started because men reported feeling anxious during sex, and later on, the cart got put before the horse. Anxiety became the reason for soft or non-existent erections. In reality, poor erections are the reason for the anxiety. Just think about it. When you were a teenager, did you feel anxious before sex? If you're anything like I was, you certainly did, yet you got hard enough to drive a nail through a 4x4, didn't you? It's not in your head, at least not the head on your shoulders. You have a physical problem, and we're going to solve that problem shortly. The second myth is a rather costly one that can break you financially as well as ruin your health. Little blue pills are the answer. No, they're not. In fact, they're part of the problem. While you could spend hundreds, even thousands of dollars on drugs like Viagra or Cialis to work temporarily to give you an erection, they do nothing whatsoever to address the cause of ED. Worse, these drugs can actually destroy your health. Blurred vision, increased risk of stroke, blindness. My doctor even warned me that I could be at risk for early heart disease, diabetes, and loss of penile sensitivity. Now, I have a solution that works just as well without a single side effect and that addresses the cause of ED directly. If only more men knew how dangerous these drugs really were. Okay, here's the third really big fat lie, a myth that's become a billion-dollar industry over the past decade. Testosterone injections will fix your problem. At first, this seems like common sense. After all, testosterone is the male sex hormone, and it does decline with age. However, what Big Pharma is not telling you is that testosterone injections do not fix the problem of ED. These injections raise your libido, but do nothing to increase blood flow to your penis. In fact, synthetic testosterone reduces blood flow by creating thicker blood. The thicker your blood, the worse your circulation becomes. And circulation is absolutely the key to rock-solid erections on demand, so avoid anything that impairs it. There are some natural alternatives that work that do not thicken the blood, and I will tell you more about that in just a second. Blood flow is one answer, but it's not the only answer. And there's actually something worse that's happening to your penis, something hardly anyone ever talks about. Something at the very root of every case of ED. Your penis has lost its sensitivity. You see, your erection is triggered by the nerves at the tip that run up and down the shaft. Thanks in part to aggressive masturbation, like using too tight of a grip, not using proper lubrication, masturbating too frequently, or prolonged setting, you start losing sensitivity in your penis at an alarming rate. Once these nerves start to die off, every time you masturbate or have sex, the skin on your member starts to thicken. This creates the ideal environment for ED to set in. This fact cannot be overstated. The loss of penile sensitivity is the #1 cause of erectile dysfunction. The statistics are alarming. Men who are circumcised are 4 times more likely to be diagnosed with erectile dysfunction starting as early as 19 years old. This is because over 80% of your penile nerves are located in your foreskin. Circumcised or not, the nerve damage that causes this loss of sensitivity reduces your pleasure, especially during orgasm. Not to mention, sex simply doesn't feel as good as it used to. The goal of this video is to help you restore the sensitivity in your member and revive those dying nerves before they lose all life. Once sensitivity is restored, sexual pleasure explodes, and your chambers can more fully engorge, leaving you rock hard at the drop of a hat. So the question is, how do you restore your penile sensitivity and increase the natural flow of blood to your member? What follows is perhaps the wildest story you'll ever hear. It's how a last-ditch effort to save my own marriage accidentally led me to one of the most strangest places on earth. It was there that I met the man that would change my sex life forever. If you'll recall, I'm a history professor and a wannabe archaeologist. I admit it. I grew up watching Indiana Jones movies, and that got me interested in ancient ruins and cultures. I set out to be an archaeologist, but then I ran into this lovely gal named Karen. She was a history major, and I ended up following in her footsteps rather than Indy's. So while I never became a professional archaeologist, it has certainly been a lingering passion of mine for almost 30 years now. It was a January day in 2011 when my passion for these mysterious and ancient civilizations ran smack dab into my desire to recover my passion for sex and rescue my marriage from the ravages of ED. Winters in Michigan are legendary for their blistering cold, and this winter felt as if God was settling an old score. My marriage was crumbling, and my wife was as cold as the weather outside. I can't say that I blame her. I stopped even trying to have sex with her months before, after over a year of trying one ED solution after another. At first, she was on board and on my side. She was open to the idea that this was just ED and not her. But after one failed attempt after another to cure my ED and a near endless string of limp noodle encounters, candles being blown out moments after they were lit, what little romantic hope I had left within me faded to black. It did the same thing within her. She even confessed that she was attracted to another man and that she was tempted to cheat. My best friend Bill did not help matters at all. He was going through ED as well, despite not telling me about it until well after it was too late. He landed on our couch after his wife of 21 years left him for a younger, more virile man. It was only then that he confessed his problem to me. It's hard to see a grown man cry, let me tell you, especially a guy as tough as Bill. Bill is a welder, and he has a grip that could crush a coconut, yet ED and its cruel consequences left him sobbing like a newborn and just as scared. Karen admitted later that she had talked to Bill's wife, Francine, and Francine couldn't stop gushing about her new lover. I'm thankful that my wife is more loyal, but I'm also honest enough with myself to know that it could have happened to me. So after the commotion died down, I asked Karen to go on an exotic vacation with me, a trip that I hoped would rekindle the dying embers of our love life and buy me some time so I could figure out how to solve my ED problem. So I picked Peru. Why Peru? Because of these. I knew from my studies that Peru was legendary for its sexual tonics, and it's a culture I've always wanted to study. Not exactly the most romantic destination, but I wasn't feeling too romantic anyway. When we arrived in Peru, we were greeted by a friend and a colleague of mine, Russ. Russ has been living in Peru for the past 12 years, studying several native tribes and their customs. I had been emailing him and asking him about these strange figures, and I asked him if he knew anything about the people who made them. Russ said that he did. In fact, he said that he would take me to their village and told me to prepare for a fantastic time because I was about to see some sights usually reserved only for locals. It was the second night when it all happened. Russ took us deep into the Peruvian jungle to the most bizarre retirement party I've ever been to. The people here celebrate men who have reached the age of rest, Russ told me. In celebration for their accomplishments as a hunter and protector, they are given a brew of local herbs that's like a sexual cocktail. I was as nervous as I was curious. Could this concoction be the answer to my ED problem? I could tell Karen was a bit scared, and to be honest with you, so was I. I held her tight as the ceremony began. The elder of the tribe was standing in front of a middle-aged Peruvian couple. As he chanted something in their native language, he dipped a large spoon into a huge pot of steaming liquid. He poured this into a cup, and the retiring warrior drank it down. After a few more Peruvian words, the man took hold of his wife and went into a hut that was surrounded by women from the tribe. A large handmade box with what I gathered was the herbs and plants that made up this boner brew was carried into the hut by several of the younger males. Before I had a chance to ask about the drink, Russ tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Okay, time to go." As we drove out of the village, I just had to ask Russ about that potion. "So what's in that brew, Russ? Any idea?" "It's a combination of ancient herbs and plant extracts used by these people for over 3,000 years. "Does it work?" I really just had to know at this point. "Apparently so. You see a lot of happy women in that tribe, but they never allow outsiders to try it." "Well, call it whatever you like. My desperation to regain my manhood, my inner Indiana Jones rearing its head, my desire to try anything if it would save my marriage. Whatever it was, I decided I was going to find a way to try that brew." So the next day, I called Russ and confided in him about my problem and asked if we could go back to that tribe that we had visited the night before. "I can take you back, but you have to promise me not to interfere with their customs," he said. That night was less exciting than the night before, but I did notice the older warrior's wife had a huge smile on her face. It was then that I noticed the elder of the tribe sitting by a fire alone. Russ and I walked over to him. I took Karen by the hand and didn't really give her a choice in the matter. We sat down beside the elder, and I asked Russ to translate my question. "With respect, may I ask you what you give your resting hunters to drink?" The elder responded in his native tongue, and Russ translated. "These aren't the exact words," he said, "but it's like a mating drink. It's given to the men because now that they are retired from the hunt, they spend most of their days with their wives, and they need more sexual stamina." I decided right then and there to go for it. "May I drink some?" Russ asked the elder, and he shook his head, no. "Then may I please know what's in it?" Again, the elder said no. And then a miracle happened, or at least it feels like a miracle to this very day. Karen, who had been silent this entire time, began to cry. I thought she was just afraid. After all, we were in the Peruvian jungle in the middle of the night and hours away from anything any of us would call civilization. But that's not why she was crying. Karen was crying because she was in tremendous emotional pain. The elder paused for a second. He looked at Karen and looked at me. Then an understanding smile appeared on his face. The elder motioned to one of his younger warriors and said something in Peruvian. The young man brought over a small box of 5 different Peruvian herbs and 2 plant stems. Before I could even ask how much to use of each, the elder got up and politely asked us to leave. That night, I decided to go back and become my own guinea pig. I took an equal amount of each herb and mixed in the stems from both of the plants into a vat of hot water. After 15 minutes, I dipped a cup into the mixture and drank it down. I have to admit, it tasted like tar. But if this saved my marriage, I would gladly drink it every day. That night, for the first time in years, I felt a pleasant tingling sensation and so much energy I could barely sleep. However, I have to admit I did not get fully erect. Over the next few days, I kept on trying different combinations using differing amounts of each herb. And then, on about the 5th day, I scored. Literally. Karen and I had the best sex we have ever had in over a decade. And not only was the sex great for her, the sex felt better than I remember it ever feeling. I was nervous when I climaxed early, really early, yet my nerves calmed down when just 20 minutes later I was ready to go again. The sex went on like this for hours until we were both exhausted and we had the best sleep that we'd had in years. Now, there was one serious problem with my boner brew. These herbs and plants were local, and obviously I was running out. So unless I wanted to move to Peru, I had to figure out something fast. I called a friend of mine that headed up the chemistry department at the University of Michigan, and I asked him if he would be interested in a really unique project. And upon hearing about it, he agreed to analyze the herbs and plants. It took about 6 weeks to get the results, but the wait was worth it. It turned out that 4 of the 5 herbs were found in many spots around the world. You can actually get most of them at your local health food store. Just one of the herbs was only found in Peru. However, the actual chemical structure of that herb was identical to an enzyme found in several American fruits. So, using about 30 cents worth of herbs in precisely the right combination, along with eating a small serving of enzymatic-rich fruit, delivered about 80% of the results of that original boner brew from Peru. And while 80% is great, I was kind of spoiled to getting firm throughout the day and waking up with a full woody every single morning, so I couldn't settle for anything less. It took another 4 months of research and about 100 attempts to mix the boner brew until I finally stumbled upon the exact right combination. 4 herbs that cost about 30 cents total, 1 amino acid that costs less than $10 a month, and 2 specific fruits that serve as a kind of transport for the entire cocktail. And I was even able to find everything I needed in very small, easy-to-swallow capsules, so I didn't have to gag down that original mixture. The result? Not only have I cured my ED problem for good, I've turned back the clock on my manhood a good 20 years or more. Sex hasn't felt this incredible since I was a very young man. Now that my penile sensitivity has been restored, I can enjoy sex again with the excitement of a football star on prom night. Let's talk about getting your hands on this recipe, as well as a few other things I found that will help you restore your sex drive and sexual performance. Fortunately for you, I'm a professor, so I know a thing or two about taking notes and about doing my homework. My years of research didn't just reveal the only all-natural ED solution that restores penile sensitivity and increases blood flow into your chambers, which increases your size and hardness. It also taught me dozens of last longer, better sex secrets that I've been fortunate enough to share with men just like you from every part of the world. Today, I'd like to give you the answer to ED in a simple, easy-to-read, straight-to-the-point manual for men called Erections on Demand. Erections on Demand is a quick read with pure content, no fluff, no confusing scientific or technical mumbo-jumbo to wade through, and no false promises. Erections on Demand was created for men of all ages. From college guys who are just beginning to show the signs of early, occasional ED, all the way to men in their golden years of retirement who are not ready to put their sex life out to pasture just yet. Erections on Demand will work for you regardless of your age, race, or no matter how serious your condition may be. Even if you have stage 4 ED, the very worst case of ED there is, and you're totally impotent, this will still work for you. You owe it to yourself and to your partner to try Erections on Demand before you give up all hope. I've seen many men who were fully impotent regain their sexual drive as they watched their withering member reawaken to its younger, harder, fuller self. Or you may be like many men and simply want to have more confidence in your ability to get and keep an erection for as long as it takes to really impress your wife or lover. Whatever your need happens to be, I am more than confident that Erections on Demand is the solution you've been asking for. You'll get the absolute truth delivered to you in a simple, easy-to-read manual designed to get you back in the bedroom and playing at full strength within minutes after you get it in your hands. Inside Erections on Demand, you'll discover the ultimate boner brew cocktail recipe. I've included the exact recipe derived from the original tonic I discovered while vacationing in Peru, plus the improvements I've made to it over the past year. You can get every ingredient you need online or at any health food store for pennies a day. Imagine the money you'll save, the frustration you'll avoid, and the look on your lover's face the first time you drink it down and spout the largest, hardest erection you've had in decades. And it's super simple to make. It only takes about 15 minutes to prepare. The 1-Minute Miracle, my easy-to-swallow capsule version of the Boner Brew. Like I said earlier, I wasn't a fan of drinking Boner Brew, so I put in some extra legwork and found every herb and supplement you'll need in super small capsules. Just a few of these capsules a day will give you a lifetime of rock-solid pleasure. This 1-Minute Miracle version is perfect if you're in a hurry and you don't want to mess around in the kitchen. 3 little-known pleasure centers that most women don't even know they have and exactly where you can find them. Here's the truth. When I couldn't get it up, I was forced to become, reluctantly, a total expert in foreplay. Oral sex, G-spot stimulation, and hidden erogenous zones were just a few of the tricks up my sleeve. So, as a part of your ED cure, I also want you to flip over to page 11 in your Erections on Demand manual and read up on these simple techniques. The combination of your newfound erections combined with these lovemaking Superman tips will make for the greatest sex you and your partner have ever had. She'll forget all about your past ED problems after the first few times you take her to these exciting new pleasure places. Increase your penile sensitivity by over 400% in just 21 days. Using my Boner Brew formulation, you will radically increase your penile sensitivity and eradicate your ED for good. However, I discovered several simple exercises that you can do next time you're in the bathroom by yourself to make this process go even faster. And trust me, you'll totally enjoy the journey. Combining these very pleasurable, be sure to have some tissues handy, tricks along with my Boner Brew can accelerate your path to regaining full sensitivity in as little as 21 days. Did you just gain an inch? I have to admit it, I loved it the first time Karen asked me that question. She was looking at my erection right before we had sex and she asked me if I was taking something to make it thicker and longer. The truth is, I wasn't taking anything except for my Boner Brew. I'll reveal what I did to give the appearance of adding an inch of length and girth inside Erections on Demand. 5 tips for getting more oral. So here's something that's a bit embarrassing to admit. During my years with ED, the only way I could keep an erection for more than about 5 minutes was to lay on my back and receive oral sex from my wife. However, after a while of not receiving actual penetration, even the most giving lover gives out. So I was forced to read up on how to create what I call blow games. This turns oral into a playful game that appeals to a secret side of a woman, the side that wants to let her naughty side come out without feeling shame or guilt. Once you know how to unlock this side of your lover, your sex life will never be the same. Who knows what game she's going to want to play? I have Karen's permission to say this, so I'm covered. One of the games she still loves to play is one that she swore for 17 years that she would never, ever do, and now she asks for it just about every week. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I'll let your imagination run wild. That's the power of these secret places inside a woman's mind, and I'll give you every secret I discovered along my journey inside Erections on Demand. Her new favorite positions. Honestly, I can all but guarantee you've never seen these positions before, even if you've read the Kama Sutra a dozen times. However, these positions have the unique distinction of forcing her to orgasm 2 to 5 times faster. Believe you me when I say she has no idea what's about to happen to her tonight. Let's just hope you don't mind a little bit of positive gossip. Dealing with temptations. I'm going to tell it to you straight. You will be tempted to use your newfound sexual powers on other women. Now, I don't mean to get all preachy on you, but I believe in staying faithful to my wife. I have never cheated on her, but I will admit that there have been times since discovering Erections on Demand that women have thrown themselves at me. At first, this really puzzled me because I've never had that happen before. I'm not a super attractive man, and I'm 58 years old, but all of a sudden I had women of all ages, including 3 students of mine, openly come on to me. I later found out that when a man is having frequent sex, he releases a very powerful sexual pheromone that attracts women like a magnet. I've had to learn how to resist temptation, otherwise my marriage would have been doomed. I'll share how I deal with it inside Erections on Demand, and if you're single, you can probably skip this section. And much more. Now, the benefits of getting tent peg-like erections throughout the day goes without saying. However, some men are rather shocked when they get hard at the thought of having sex. No touching or foreplay required. Come on demand. Go as long or as fast as you desire. Go strong during a few all-nighters. You may not have them all the time, but you will have the tool and the ammo if you really want to wear her out. Explode with higher volume orgasms. The more sensitive your penile shaft becomes, the more sperm you tend to ejaculate. Lengthen the look and feel of your penis, all thanks to those penile chambers receiving the full amount of blood and nitric oxide required to expand your girth and length to its absolute max. Switch it up on her and go for all the best positions without fearing the loss of your erection. Most men that have low-level ED stick to only 1 or 2 positions to avoid losing their rod. Well, as of today, you can enjoy the sex you want and the sex that your lover truly deserves. Attract more women than ever thanks to the pheromone phenomenon I describe on page 42. Just behave yourself if you're married, and more. Now, because you've been paying attention so far, you probably realize how powerful Erections on Demand can be in putting the life back in your penis. You may be starting to imagine all the ways having a revived penis with renewed sensitivity will improve your life. Now, you might have a couple of questions like, how can I get access to this today? How much is this going to cost? Is it guaranteed to work for me? I'm going to answer those questions, but before I do, I have one question for you. What would it be worth to you if you could end the shame and nightmare of ED for good? Reawaken the sensation in your penis, giving yourself and your partner the most intense, mind-blowing orgasms you've ever experienced. How confident will you feel when you can get rock hard at a moment's notice and fully penetrate a woman for hours on end with no chance of going soft or limp during sex? What is your penis truly worth to you? Can you even put a price on it? Probably not, since most men would rather die than live without it. Many men spend thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars on pills, treatments, and dangerous life-altering surgeries that give unnatural, artificial erections that do nothing to restore full sensitivity. And when you factor in a lifetime of pill dependence that could leave you blind, surgery that could permanently deform your member, or a lifetime of sexual abstinence and awkward excuses, how much could making the wrong decision cost your penis and your sex life? What would it be worth to you to know with certainty for the rest of your life you can always get rock hard on command, enjoying intense sensation-filled sex, and know that you will never be one of those guys who women secretly laugh at? Smart men who have access to Erections on Demand right now say they wouldn't even begin to put a price on the restoration to their penis. Several men have been quoted saying that they would gladly have paid thousands of dollars to access this program. However, because you're on this page, you're getting access to this system for a fraction of that. When you click on the big yellow button below, you'll get access to the entire Erections on Demand system for just $69.95. The best part is, when you place your order now, you'll unlock the secrets to permanently reversing ED within minutes, right from the comfort and privacy of your own home. Over the course of a month, that's going to break down to less than $2.34 a day, which is even less than the price of a cup of coffee. It's even less than the cost of condoms you'll need this year once you start using the system. Trust me, you're going to need them. Now, I want to make this as easy as possible for you. I strongly believe Erections on Demand is going to put an end to your ED nightmare and give you back firmer, powerful, stay harder for longer erections. If you aren't absolutely thrilled, or if you don't get the results that you're looking for, just email me within 60 days for a complete refund. Every penny, no questions asked. As much as I enjoy helping to restore the sex lives of thousands of guys across the world, I just don't want to be known as the boner guy. So if you want to get back those strong erections that leave your partner gasping with ecstasy and bring back that sexual passion and excitement that you had as a teenager, then you need to act today. Just click the big yellow button below this video right now and just enter your information on the secure 256-bit SSL encrypted form on the next page. Your information is 100% confidential. You'll get instant access to the entire Erections on Demand system. And soon, you'll look back at this very moment as a crucial turning point in your life. Everything is going to change, and today will be the day that you end the suffering and humiliation of ED forever. And just to make this a no-brainer, when you claim your copy of Erections on Demand today, I am going to give you 5 special reports that you can download at no additional cost to you. Report number 1 is called Text Her Panties Off. Get her hot and ready for action with a push of a button. She can be at the supermarket, at work, visiting her parents, and as soon as you copy and paste one of these dirty texts to her, you are guaranteed to leave her dripping with anticipation. Some guys have even described the secrets contained in Text Her Panties Off as like having your very own remote control to her pussy. Tighten stamina. Become a sex god in the bedroom. Did you know there are certain positions? Actually, there's a certain way that you hold her legs that you can use so that you can last for 45 minutes and up to 2 hours. Tighten Stamina shows a variety of techniques for lasting all night long. After one night with you, she'll be limping into work the next day with a satisfied grin on her face. And once you know how to go the distance with any girl, your confidence will immediately skyrocket. Instant orgasms. 7 positions to give her an instant explosion. In a recent breakthrough, sexual historians have discovered a forgotten manuscript that contains 7 new positions whose sole purpose is to get you deeper into the penetration of your woman so that you can hit all the right spots directly responsible for female orgasm. These moves are guaranteed to leave her gasping in pure ecstasy each time and leave her so addicted you'll ruin her for all other men. Mr. Big. Simple exercises to a supersized member. Did you know you might be 2 to 3 inches off your full erect potential? You could be supporting a fuller, thicker package with just a few simple, pleasurable exercises with no equipment required. Try it. The look of fear and surprise when she sees your full potential can be priceless. 33 innocent words that turn her on. Did you know there's 33 innocent words and phrases that you can slip into any ordinary everyday conversation that gets her to make the first move? In this rather controversial report, you'll learn a few innocent words that you can say to any woman to get juices flowing in just seconds. And because she loses control, there's no risk of rejection, just pure, raw animal attraction. All 5 of these ebooks are available for instant download on the private thank you page once you place your order for Erections on Demand. Press the big yellow button below this video and claim your copy of Erections on Demand and all 5 valuable bonuses. We know it works. So do our thousands of happy customers worldwide. Oh, before I forget, I need to tell you how being great in the bedroom can really help your social life too. I was out to dinner with my wife and her smoking hot girlfriend, Catherine, about 10 years younger than us, I might add. And after one glass of wine, Karen started going off about how great our sex life had become. And at first I was a little embarrassed. After all, I prefer to keep our private life private, and the conversations up until recently were never very positive about that. However, when Karen started talking about how I could stay hard for nearly 2 hours, Catherine's eyes widened. And I don't know if it was my imagination or not. I swear, she started holding eye contact with me a lot longer than usual. Now, I am a loyal guy, and I would never cheat, but I know that Catherine was intrigued and curious enough to experience it for herself. I swear, my erections have brought out a more sexual side of my wife as well, because she suggested that the three of us get in the hot tub together for a second round of drinks. Now, here's the crazy part. Catherine was getting changed in our bathroom. She left the door almost halfway open as well, giving me an ample view of her gorgeous breasts, and that alone was enough to rip a hole in my jeans. Now, I can't tell you what happened in the hot tub. I'll leave that to your imagination. And frankly, everyone's relationship is a little bit different. That's not important. What is important to know is the newfound respect and attention that I get from my wife's friends now. I know she's telling everyone because almost every single female friend that comes over is extra nice to me and goes out of her way to touch me, hug me a little bit longer when I say hello, and things like that. Claim your risk-free system now and learn how to naturally regain full erections without any risky prescription drugs or dangerous surgeries. Erections on Demand will revive your sex life and help you get the confidence back to perform at a moment's notice, keeping you healthier and happier. Right now, you have a very important decision to make. Most likely, one of the most important decisions that you'll ever make. One that could dramatically affect your sex life and your future relationships. You can do nothing, but your problems are only going to get worse until you can never get it up again. And the enjoyment and pleasure of sex will be nothing but a fading memory. And let's face it, no man wants that. This is your chance to perform sexually on a very high level and keep your partner satisfied without any of the dangerous side effects or painful surgery. When you click the big yellow button below, feel confident you made the right decision to become the man you were meant to be. So, how effective is Erect on Demand? Here are examples of certified, real, 100% verified customers, guys just like you who have had life-changing results from the system. Kevin from London, England wrote me and said, I've been using Erect on Demand for about a month, and it has improved my ability to get and keep my erections. My sex life has improved greatly. The side benefits are great too. I feel more alert and energetic. I've lost about 7 kilos in weight. I've been exercising more both in and out of the gym, if you know what I mean. Strangely, I think my hair is growing back thicker than it did before I started using the Erect on Demand program. So if you don't even suffer from ED, the side effects of using Erect on Demand make it worth it. Jonathan from Dallas, Texas emailed this. I think the best way to describe my experience is to tell you that I now love how my erections look. Any woman I'm now with gasps with delight when they see and feel me sliding into them. My sex life has changed from sporadic to epic. Women can't get enough. Stephen from Auckland, New Zealand wrote in and shared this. What can I say? I have the feeling and sensitivity I had when I was a teenager. Confidence in my abilities. A constant smile on my face. To keep adjusting because of my hard-on is happily uncontrollable in my jeans and shorts, etc. A constant desire to jump into bed with my much better half. Thank you. And lastly, Kevin from Houston, Texas wrote in with the following. Improved? Reawakened it. The decline had been gradual until I realized my sex life had all but gone. My wife had started becoming accustomed to rarely having sex. And now we're having sex like every night. Erect on Demand has reversed everything. At 69 years, I'm nearly back to my 20s, and I am liking it a lot. So now I have to go, and I hope that you've learned that you no longer have to suffer from the embarrassment and ridicule that comes with having ED. You are now just seconds away from taking the years of my hard work and research and just reaping the benefits in just a few short minutes as you read through this no fluff, no BS manual for men. And I hope you'll walk away from this experience today with a renewed hope for what's possible in your sex life. ED doesn't have to be a death sentence. In fact, you stand at the threshold of having the very best sex of your life, assuming you take action. The choice you now face is really no choice at all. You can continue in the death grip of erectile dysfunction and risk losing more than just your manhood. Your most precious relationship is an unwilling victim of your ED. Right now, she is slowly pulling away on the inside. Perhaps she's already begun plotting her escape. You have to understand, it isn't that she doesn't love you. It's that her body doesn't feel loved by you. A woman's mind is her orgasmic center, and when you can't keep it up long enough to please her and to bring her into the pleasure she's craving, her tender side would rather blame herself than blame you. Yes, you feel humiliated, embarrassed, less like a man than ever before. I was there, so I can relate. However, it's her that feels rejection and misery, and she will have to run into the arms of another man eventually in order to soothe her pain. However, there is a more pleasurable path for you today, one that will put you and your lover on the road to the very best sex of your life. Sex that's long, spontaneous, and full of adventure. Sex that combines the confidence she demands in a man, confidence that comes naturally when your member is at your command, with the intimacy that will bind you to her forever. And if you're single, do you really want to risk making a first impression with a limp and sagging member showing up in the bedroom? No man wants this. We crave sexual respect, and to earn that respect, you absolutely need to make even the occasional ED a distant memory. The only way to ensure this happens today is to click the button you see below this video right now that says, Cure My ED Today, so I can give you instant and totally private access to Erections on Demand right now. No waiting, no shipping cost, no embarrassing packages in the mail, and absolutely no risk to you whatsoever. You can try Erections on Demand on me for a full 60 days. And if you are not fully sexually satisfied, and if she isn't fully sexually satisfied, then simply email me for a prompt, hassle-free refund. So have a look at the two paths in front of you right now. On one side, you have the end of your sexual era, an early retirement death ritual for your lagging member. And on the other side, you have Erections on Demand, the exact cocktail I use to restore my penile hardness and sensitivity within a matter of days. On this side of the road, you have all the pleasure in the world to both give and receive. You'll know she craves you, and only you, because you can pleasure her like no man ever has. Plus, you'll feel as if someone turned back the clock 10, 20, even 30 years on your sex life, as if you were put back in your first girlfriend's bedroom, about to score for the very first time before her parents got home from work. That's the exact same sensation I experienced that night in Peru when, after years of embarrassment and failure, I was able to pleasure my wife the way I wanted to. If you can call this a choice, then the choice is yours. Just be sure to make the only smart choice a man can make, and let me give you Erections on Demand today. Do that now and prepare for the fireworks. Thanks for watching. Still here? Still making your decision? As you can imagine, I get a lot of questions about this breakthrough system, so let me just answer some of the most common questions that people have. Hopefully, I'll answer any questions you might have as well as you sit here and decide to purchase. Is this safe? Are there any side effects? Erections on Demand is 100% natural, so naturally it's 100% safe. There are no reported side effects to any of the simple herbs, amino acids, or enzymes you'll be using to restore your penile sensitivity and erectile power. In fact, several of the herbs and key amino acids found within my Boner Brew have been proven to lower blood pressure, reduce your risk of heart disease, and even increase your energy. And energy is something you're going to need more of once your boners return in all their glory. Will making my penis more sensitive lead to premature ejaculation? At first, yes, this can happen. The increased sensitivity will make your member feel as if it was back in high school, and we both know how easily we climaxed when we were younger guys. The good news is that you'll recover very quickly, often within about 15 minutes or less, so that you can go at it again for much longer. I've also included my last longer tips within the Erections on Demand manual to make sure that your renewed pleasure doesn't detract from hers. How long does it take to see results? For many men, within a few minutes, you'll notice a tingling sensation that's very pleasant, and that's the first sign of things to come. In less than an hour, you'll be ready to make love, and your erection will subside naturally at the end of your lovemaking session. You may require a double dose if you want to have sex more than, say, 3 times a day, but otherwise, one dose is enough to last you for about 18 hours or more. Will I get erections at awkward times? Some guys report getting erections when wearing loose-fitting shorts, while biking, and while talking to an attractive woman. So yes, this can create an awkward situation, just like it did back when you were a younger man. However, it's good to remember that women pick up on your excitement, and it actually excites them. I just ask that you act responsibly if you're in a committed relationship. Will I get too aroused? Your desire will return with a vengeance, but you do not run the risk of extended erections that literally damage your penis. While the promise of erections that last for more than 4 hours makes for a very good marketing campaign, the reality is that 4-hour erections can be permanently damaging to your penile chambers and prevent any future erections. Many men have lost all hope of ever having an erection again thanks to these dangerous drugs. The good news is Erections on Demand simply restores your youthful, natural hardness. It does not cause erections that can damage your manhood. Will this make my penis bigger? Simply increasing blood flow to your member will make your penis bigger, or at least as big as it can be. While Erections on Demand doesn't promise to make your penis bigger than your genetics allow, you can rest assured that your wife or girlfriend will feel as if you are thicker and harder. This is due to your penile chambers reaching maximum blood flow capacity. But remember, when you order now, you're going to get access to my bonus report, Mr. Big, so you'll learn how to permanently and safely increase your size. Will Erections on Demand help prevent penis shrinkage that happens with age? The best way to prevent penile shrinkage is to have daily erections. Like any muscle, if you don't use it, you lose it. Erections on Demand will make sure you use it several times a day if you desire. I have a heart condition and high blood pressure. Is this safe? Erections on Demand actually serves to protect your heart and lower your blood pressure naturally. It's completely safe, assuming your doctor has given you the okay to engage in sexual activity. Are the ingredients hard to find? Does it require a lot of work to make? The ingredients in Boner Brew can be found at any local health food store or online at one of 100 different websites. The key is knowing which herbs to purchase and how to combine them properly. All the herbs and the amino acid that makes the mixture more potent are very inexpensive. For less than a few pennies a day, you will be set with boners for life. As far as preparation, if you want to make the original Boner Brew, it will take you about 15 minutes to do, and it's so easy anyone can mix it up. However, if you're like me and you suffer from impatience, simply use my 1-minute miracle version of Boner Brew and take the mixture in an affordable, easy-to-swallow capsule form. Is this safe to download to my computer? Totally safe. Plus, the name of the document has been changed so that your privacy is complete and total. We have the highest standard of encryption to ensure your information is kept 100% safe. Your absolute privacy is ensured. Is my credit card safe? What will show up on my bill? Your credit card is completely safe, and your billing statement will say ClickBank, which is the name of our trusted online merchant. No one will ever know about your purchase today unless you decide to tell them. Can I just get this in one pill? The pill would be too large to comfortably swallow. However, the capsules I recommend are smaller than your average aspirin, so taking them is a breeze. And if you simply hate the thought of taking pills, you can always drink Boner Brew. I found that when I mix it with honey, it actually tastes like an herbal tea. Those are the most common questions I get asked about Erections on Demand. Hopefully your question was answered there. But if you're still wondering if it's right for you, honestly, the only way to find out is to claim your copy now by clicking the button below. Try it out. Feel the life-changing effects and then decide to keep it. Isn't it just better to find out now rather than wondering what if for the rest of your life? Your body and your health is all you really have, and your enjoyment of life and the world around you is based on how you feel. And how you feel as a man is based on your ability to perform sexually. Life is short. How many great, healthy years do you really have left? I can't promise you that this will add years to your life, but it sure will put life back into your years. There's not many things you can buy for $69.95. You can eat a meal at your favorite restaurant or fill up your gas tank one time, but how many things can actually change your life and the quality of your everyday experiences for that price? I can't think of many. So either you continue to miss out on having the intense sexual experiences we are all entitled to as men, or you take dangerous drugs that will make the problem even worse. Or you can take the better option, the only option that really makes any sense at all, which is to get Erections on Demand and claim your sexual superpowers today. Because Erections on Demand is the only erectile dysfunction solution that addresses both blood flow to the penis and penile sensitivity. It's the simplest all-in-one solution to once again having long-lasting, rock-hard erections and bedroom performance that will curl her toes and leave her gasping for air in ecstasy. You don't know what it's like to try something that works the way it's supposed to make you get up in the morning fully rested with a rock-hard erection and ready to take on the world and all the sexual opportunities life has to offer. So go ahead and click the button below and claim your copy now. Remember, you're fully protected by our 60-day guarantee, and you'll love how it makes you feel. If you don't notice a rapid and powerful awakening of your manhood and sex life, just give us a call or send us an email, and we'll refund your purchase in full. You really have nothing to lose, and a healthy, enjoyable, and functional sex life to gain. And you'll gain it fast. You're going to love the size and hardness of your erection on demand. Make it a great day.